In order to understand World War II, you have to understand the decade prior first. The who, the what, the whens, the wheres, and hows all need to be answered before you can fully understand why World War II started. On June 28, 1919, World War I ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. This treaty was written by the Allied nations of the war, Britain, France, and Italy, and was to punish Germany for instigating the war. This treaty declared Germany the sole reason for the war and stated that they had to pay reparations for civilian and property damage. This treaty humiliated Germany, and the country lost national pride, leading to social, economical, and political instability. The German Worker Party was started in January 1919 by Anton Drexler, which was shortly before World War I ended. The party's goal was to discuss political matters which quickly turned to radicalizing ideas. The National Socialist German Worker Party, better known as the Nazi Party, was formally started on February 23, 1920. The Nazi Party controlled all of Germany by the mid-1920s. Adolf Hitler joined the party in 1919, where he quickly became a leader and spokesperson. Hitler, who was unimpressed by the party, pushed for overhaul of structure. Instead of democratic committee, he wanted one single leader who had the ultimate power and control. In today's world, this would be a dictatorship like North Korea. The party declined his ideas, which led to Hitler's resignation as spokesperson for the German party. After realizing the impact of his departure, Anton Drexler and the Nazi Party gave in to his demands. Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany on January 30th, 1933. Hitler quickly became overly powerful and more superior than Anton Drexler. Hitler and the Nazi Party promoted and radicalized their Aryan race, a race that is superior and above all others. They believed that Germans were superior, and Hitler took one step further with his Aryan race being Germans, mostly men, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Hitler claimed that the Jewish people, homosexuals, and disabled individuals are threats to their Aryan race. This belief and ideology justified a range of harsh policies and laws towards the demographics. Under Nazi power, Jews were pushed out of public schools, social, economic, and political life. The one democratic country was now becoming socialist. Jewish people were fired from jobs, kicked out of high-ranking positions, and not allowed basic necessities for everyday life. The goal of these harsh laws and policies was to isolate Jewish people and force them to migrate out of Germany and promote their Aryan race. Anyone who was caught going against these policies were either executed, imprisoned, sent to concentration camps, or even extermination camps. The Nazi power and Hitler had this planned out methodically. The Treaty of Versailles made Germany take most of the blame for World War I, resulting in the loss of land and territories. The exclusion of Jewish people and others who did not fit into a broad spectrum of their Aryan race was to challenge the Treaty of Versailles, and it was to reshape Germany's place in the world. These pivotal moments, punishments, and policies set a series of events that would ignite one of the most devastating conflicts, wars, and disasters in history. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, marking the start of World War II. With little to no warning, German and Soviet troops attacked Poland, making France and Great Britain to give Germany an ultimatum: withdraw from Poland, or they will declare war. France and Great Britain were prompted to do this under mutual defense treaties between the two countries. Hitler ignored the ultimatum, leading to all three countries, France, Great Britain, and Poland, declaring war on Germany. The first few months were calm before the storm. Some historians regard these months as the phony war, where no major battles or fighting took place. The countries involved were split into two distinct alliances, the Allied powers and the Axis powers. The Allies were Britain, France, and Poland, who were later joined by the Soviet Union and the United States. The Axis powers were led by Germany, Italy, and Japan, and at the beginning of the Soviet Union. Though the Soviet Union invaded Poland with Germany, they remained neutral throughout most of the war. By May 1940, Hitler and Nazi Germany decided to get more aggressive. This led them to invade Denmark and Norway, before launching a full-scale invasion on France. The Allies were pushed back to Dunkirk, France, where Operation Dynamo was launched by Great Britain. This operation launched to evacuate over 330,000 Allied troops from the beaches of Dunkirk. Fascist Italy joined the Axis powers in June 1940 in hopes to gain more land and to avoid invading by Nazi Germany. On December 7, 1941, the war took a dramatic turn when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. The next day, December 8th, President Franklin D. Roosevelt asked the United States Congress to declare war on Japan, which they obliged. Within the days of this, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, marking their full entry into the global carnage of World War II. During the course of the war, the Nazi Party and Hitler intensified their crusade against the Jewish people and other groups they targeted. The establishment of concentration camps in years prior allowed for the establishment of extermination camps, where prisoners were just sent off to be killed in gas chambers, starvation, or firing squad. The use of gas chambers became a methodical and notorious part in the mass genocide of the Jewish people, and this period is now called the Holocaust. The Nazi Party kept pushing for total dominance and racial purity for their Aryan race throughout Germany and other Nazi-controlled countries. In April 1942, United States forces launched the Doolittle Raid, bombing Japanese cities and sending a powerful message to their enemy. This was followed by a 5-day battle, the Battle of Midway, in June 1942. United States naval forces dropped several bombs on large cities in Japan and destroyed their mass construction of a war submarine. This was a blow to Japan's naval power. Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy invaded North Africa and Sicily in late April 1942. The Allies turned their attention to this and invaded them to the control of the small countries. The Allies won and took control of North Africa and Sicily, forcing Italy to surrender and leaving Germany and Japan as the only countries left in the Axis powers. The D-Day invasion on June 6, 1944, was a turning point in World War II. Allied forces landed on the beach of Normandy in what became the largest amphibious assault in history. In the early morning before sunrise, 1,200 paratroopers landed on the beach of Normandy to secure the Allies' foothold. The largest naval battle ever recorded shortly followed. The battleships and destroyers bombarded the beaches and surrounding area with shells and bombs. This lasted for 45 minutes until sunrise. The Allied forces then stormed the 50-mile beach coastline with more than 150,000 troops. This was vastly defended by Nazi Germany throughout. As strong currents were forcing the Allied powers south of the landing zone, they were forced to march 2,000 yards to secure a foothold in the country and take over Nazi-controlled forts. A little over 4,400 Allied soldiers gave their lives that day. By the end of June, the Allies had secured and controlled most of Western Europe, which set the stage for the defeat of Nazi Germany. As the year went into another stalemate for the United States, the Soviet Union was busy taking Nazi control. They took over Berlin, the capital city of Nazi Germany, and Adolf Hitler took his own life on April 30th, 1945. Nazi Germany was left leaderless and powerless as relentless attacks kept coming from the Allies. Nazi Germany surrendered on May 7th, 1945, marking the end of the war for most of the Allied countries. The following day, May 8th, 1945, was celebrated all throughout Europe, which is now known as Victory in Europe Day. With the war in Europe over and most of the Allied forces out, the United States and the Soviet Union turned their attention and assaults to Japan. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped the largest atomic bomb ever made on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. Japan, now in an utter state of despair, started arguing amongst themselves. Government leaders failed to understand the magnitude of the bombing until August 9, 1945, when the United States dropped another atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Nagasaki. The two atomic bombs are now estimated to have killed 150,000 to 256,000 people, either from impact or from the mass radiation poisoning. Those who survived the attacks were left with diseases such as leukemia and cancer. These devastating and crucial attacks led to Japan's surrender on August 14, 1945, marking the end of the war for the Soviet Union. Now named Victory over Japan Day, the formal surrender was signed by President Truman and the Japanese government aboard the USS Missouri on September 2, 1945. This marked the end of the World War II for the United States. World War II claimed over 15 million military lives, more than 38 million innocent civilians, including the mass genocide of over 6 million Jewish people. The war and the Holocaust reshaped the world as far-reaching consequences and immense loss of life leaves a dark stain and lasting memory on history.